I just find weird pockets to do things.
I mean, that's a great other name for this podcast, Weird Pockets of Time. Weird Pockets of Time. Like I get a text in and I'm like, okay, I need to go pick up these prescriptions for my mom. I also need to work out. So I'm going to go for like a quickie 20-minute run and then loop by the pharmacy on my way back from the run because I've got this kind of weird pocket of time, but I've also got my AirPods in so I can get that call out of the way that I have to do. It's like multitasking on steroids.
Thank you, everybody, for coming back to So Your Parents Are Old. This week, we have an amazing writer, Jo Piazza, who I have sort of known for a very, very long time. I've known of her. I'm not even sure we've met in person. This might be one of multiple times we've talked to each other remotely, but she has a fantastic podcast that you should check out called Under the Influence, and also the most hilarious book. She became obsessed with trad wives, and she wrote a novel, a thriller about that whole world called Everybody Is Lying to You, which is a huge hit, and she's been running around touring with it. So we are going to talk to her about all things taking care of kids, taking care of parents, how you balance your work as well, the famous 3 shifts that we all do, the third shift being dealing with your parents. Thanks so much, Jo. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me on. I love that intro. And yeah, I don't know if we have met in person, and if we did, it was a gazillion years ago when we were like running around in New York media like baby chickens with our heads cut off.
I know. We probably even look different. You know, Sarah Silverman has this bit of like, oh my God, I've gotten so old that my iPhone doesn't recognize my face anymore. It won't like unlock my screen. I feel like I'm trending into that territory.
That is
like
me.
My face is very blocky. Mm-hmm. It's like a Minecraft face.
Yes. No one talks enough about Minecraft face, but it is a real thing that happens to women as we age.
It definitely is. But, you know, also we're so wise. But tell me about your time management, because I have to say, of all the people I know, I almost want to say you do more than anybody else because you've got 3 kids and they're all small, they're little, and you run your own basically business, right? As a writer of all different kinds, and you make a podcast, and I believe you live near your parents, right? Who are old.
I do.
Is that right?
I do. Well, we just moved my mom to Center City, Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
From the suburbs. So yeah, she is very, very much a part of our life now on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. That's so fun when that starts happening because you figure out, oh, I don't actually have 1 more minute to spare, but I'm just going to have to make a minute.
I'm going to have to make the minute. But what I have been saying lately, though, and I've been saying this part out loud, like I've been saying the quiet part out loud, is that I'm at maximum caregiving. I'm actually fully there. There's nothing left to spare. And my best example of that is that my mom stayed over at my house this weekend, and she is tremendously helpful with my kids. There's a lot of things that I'm doing caregiving wise for her, but she is helpful with my kids. And my husband was out of town, but she brought her a dog who is a badly trained dog. And I do not enjoy this dog. And I just did not have that extra ounce of caregiving. I was like, this dog's driving me crazy. Like I don't have the compassion for it that I would normally have under other circumstances. But I'm like, I'm maxed out. I've got 3 kids, 8, 5, and 2. I've got my mom who still requires for me to do a lot when she's in the house. And then I'm dealing, you know, with a remote husband far away. He's off on a trip, but I still have to do man-keeping things.
Wait, what does he do?
He was actually on like a friend weekend. He went to go visit his friends. He and I now run a business together. So he helps me run this media company.
Is he your producer?
He is my producer. He's also essentially the COO. So he keeps it going. All of the tasks that it takes to get a media company running, he does all of those.
I love that though, because I mean, this is a secret of the modern media business that people have been talking about in our circles, at least, that a lot of these independent journalists who you see who are gaining followers and who are doing video and all of the different things you need to do to run a business like that, If they're male, it's usually the wife is the producer, is the person. Like, it
Yes.
becomes like a family business because it's actually too much to do, just one person.
I know about 10 men whose wives are running the behind the scenes of their Substacks, actually. Yeah.
It is amazing. But you've got your husband. But yes, you're full up, right? There's a number of people you can really be close to and you can really care about and be in like deep relationship with. And it's like 5 or 6.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And you've got them right there with 3 kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like, having the dog and like having to have compassion for the dog who's like barking all the time. I'm like, this is what's going to send me over the edge. It's not potty training my baby. It's not like running out to get my mom 19 prescriptions. It's the dog.
Is the dog like 19?
The dog is so old and like incontinent and also unpleasant. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and the third shift is real. My mom was in the burbs for a long time, like an hour out of the city. And so anytime she had like a medical problem or needed help around the house, that was like a 2.5-hour commute for us, just getting into the car, getting out there. And we just couldn't do it anymore. So for efficiency's sake, we had to move her into Center City. But I will tell you, she is living her best life because she's never lived in a city. And she's like, this is amazing. I can walk everywhere.
Ooh, that's good. And does she have friends?
She has so many friends now because she moved into a building that has a lot of people her age, but also a lot of young people who seem to like older people. And there's a pool and they all gather around the pool. And I think she just joined a mahjong group.
Oh my God. It's like a old person's home, but also has young people in a hip area.
Exactly. Yeah. No, like that is going great for her. But also we are now like fully, because my dad passed 8 years ago, we are fully her main people. Like we are her point of contact for absolutely everything that happens in her life at this point.
Yeah, that's, very similar. I mean, my dad died about then as well. I often describe it like a toddler who like doesn't live with you. I mean, my mom sounds quite a bit more ill than your mom, but it's just like, wow, okay, that's another person that I'm definitely responsible for. I'm not sure what's really going on. And in my case, they're like an hour away. And so I'm constantly like driving this very trafficky freeway to get up there.
Exactly. And that's what it was. I mean, it's not even that far distance-wise, but it was like there's always traffic on 95, right? Getting out of this city. And it got to the point where I could not handle it anymore.
And so what was the move like?
Oh, the move was so much. I mean, because it was essentially, you know how terrible moving is. Moving is awful, right? Mm-hmm. And so moving was essentially as if we were moving. And the breaking point was one, we were going there for health stuff a lot. Like my mom is not particularly mobile, although her being here, she's like thriving, getting a lot better, but not that mobile. She had a hip replacement that like didn't heal that well because she wasn't that mobile. So it was hard for it to like heal well. And also lived in the same house that she's been in for 30 years. And she has no financial security. So the financial aspect of it is a whole other thing. When my dad passed away, he had taken a second mortgage out on the house without telling her. Okay. So there's like no equity in that freaking house, which she assumed was paid off, right? He hadn't paid taxes in like 15 years. Another thing she didn't know. And I say this all the time when I talk about like the fantasy of trad wives and financial dependence on men. My mom had a job and yet let my dad run all the finances, and he screwed her so hard like that and she just didn't know about it. What saves her is she has a teacher's pension.
Okay, that's good.
Amazing. Like, I'm just like, oh my, like it saves us. It saves our lives, to be honest. And then teachers union health insurance too.
Yeah. So she had that on her own. So it's not like she lost it.
She didn't lose that, but she has no buffer. Like she had no savings, nothing.
What was your dad like? Was this like a secretive thing and the rest was normal?
No. He was a terrible husband. I mean, he was just like a constant philanderer, kind of a narcissist, a guy that you would probably love being friends with. Like, I think he was a lot of fun, right? And I liked him, but like a really bad husband and a really bad caregiver and support system. And then he was very sick. He had muscular dystrophy and was bedridden for the last 8 years of his life, but we have no idea what he was blowing cash on. I'm like, was it secret family? We've gone through all his emails. We can't figure it out, but the money's just gone. And this house was falling apart. Like the roof was about to give way, and that would have been a $30,000 expense that would have fallen on us, right? Because she didn't have the buffer. And I was like, okay, I'm like, it's time. I don't have 30 grand to shell out to fix this house. We have to sell it. And so it was a good 2 months of cleaning it out, of like getting dumpsters and just getting rid of so much stuff. And then we did get really lucky because we found a realtor who wanted to buy it and use it as a rental property. So we were able to sell as is, but then also coordinating the move with the remaining stuff that we kept. And my mom was also a smoker for a long time. She does not smoke, but everything in that house smelled like smoke. So I was just like, I would like you to burn all of this. I'd like you to get rid of.
Oh my God. It's like moldy and smells like smoke.
It's moldy and smoky. And I'm like, I want you to have a fresh start in this new apartment. So we got rid of almost everything. Everything.
Oh my God. It really does make you feel like you just want to have some sort of like Native American ceremony.
Oh my God.
Right?
Where
you can
yes. Where I just cleanse it.
Burn and do like a sweat lodge and just be like, this is my new life and I've left this all behind. Yeah. It's crazy. The amount of stuff. How was she emotionally through all this? Was she freaking out or was she like, I'm good, I'm ready to move on?
You know, she did freak out in the beginning. And like even the convincing her that it was time, because we've been saying for a while, we're like, you will eventually move to Center City to be closer to us. She wants to be close to my kids. I mean, being a grandma is like her whole personality at this point. Yeah. But at the same time, she was like, not yet, maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years. Like, I'm not there yet. But this thing with the roof and the house falling apart, we were just like, yeah.
It has to happen.
It has to happen now before the house is unsellable, right?
Well, yeah. And then it's also like people don't talk about how much they have to help their parents, right? Who is going to step in with the bank account when your parent doesn't have enough? And it's like, okay, you know, there's only two ways it can go. Either you're going to help out or it's a Medicaid home.
Right.
Like, that's it. There's no other option. You know, I guess you could get like a low income housing or this or that and applying for all of that.
But that seems so, the bureaucracy of that seems so daunting. And so, it was like, all right, we're going to head off this financial disaster at the pass. And she did come around to it.
Well, it's like a rabbit out of the hat also that now she's in a city that she likes to be in and she's a pool and I'm sure your kids are like excited about that. And there's people who talk to her in the lobby and like, wow. I mean, could not have ended up better.
Not have been better. It was a crazy ass 6 months. It was a crazy ass 6 months of us moving her, dealing with 3 kids. Also, my book was coming out around the same time. So I was on book tour as she was about to move. And so my husband was handling it. And they don't get along that well, which both of them will tell you. Like, none of this is a secret. I can publicly say it on a podcast. I don't think they like each other very much, okay?
Why not?
They're just very different people. She is not practical, and he is the most practical human on the planet. And I've had to be like, recently, I'm like, guys, I'm like, my biggest source of tension right now is having to like deal with the two of you. Could you just like both adult up and figure this out? But he had to manage a lot of her move and I had to be hands off because I wasn't here. And that, I think that's really interesting too. When your spouse is dealing with your parent and it's not their parent, but it is kind of their parent now because they've married into this shit. So they're also taking on the third shift with someone that they don't. I mean, I can find my mom super annoying, but she's still my mom.
I know. Well, when I'm complaining about, oh my God, I have so many things I have to do, people will be like, well, where's your husband and all this? And I'm like, well, he'll do the handyman stuff. Like, she needs a grab bar, she needs her lights changed, or she is an artist. He built all of this storage for her. Like, he's done a bunch of stuff like that. But he's not going to go like sit with her when she's lonely and sad. You know, he's doing the things that he is good at and that he's like equipped to do. And I'm excited that he's doing those because Lord knows there's a million of those little things that have to be done as well.
That I'm not going to do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a dicey situation. And of course, I look at his parents and I'm like, oh my God, I will soon be also trying to figure out what I can do with you guys. Because like, I'm very good at reading contracts and things like that. Am I going to be the one in charge of selling your apartment and reading
the answer is probably yes.
And the answer is probably yes, because my husband isn't going to want to deal with it. He doesn't have that super attention to detail for legal docs and stuff like that. And yeah, like even if it's 3 parents and not 4, it's still a lot. Each one, as they go into the great beyond, brings their own little packet of things that need to be unraveled, like a ball of wax that needs to be unstuck. You've got to just elbow grease it over and over and over. And it's painful. What I'm so fascinated by is, first of all, you're the kind of writer, I can tell, who just sits down and you just write. You have this idea in your head.
I do.
And you sit down and you're not doing like a hell of a lot of revision because it's kind of coming, it's straight from your brain to God's lips or whatever they say. Like you can write these things and people really respond to them and you don't have to do a ton of worrying and tweaking and revision and the next day, like, what did I say? And I could just tell that's you. But even with all of that, I am stunned that you have 3 kids under 10 years old and you are writing and making a podcast and writing your Substack and your novel and then dealing with your mom. Like, how do you schedule this all?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, I'm hyper efficient in everything. I truly believe, having worked in newspapers in like the late 90s, early 2000s, working in a daily newsroom, you're like, you get shit done. You just kind of figured it out. You don't get to sit around and have writer's block really because they're like, it's due at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I worked at a magazine back then, and I have to say it gave me recall for phone numbers where I can just look at the 7 numbers and just be like, that's the phone number and plug it in.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because we were calling so many people all day long, like asking them, whatever nonsensical questions we asked back then to put in the newspaper.
Yes, we did.
But are you the kind of person where like you open, when you read the email, you respond?
I do. I am a to-do lister. I physically write out a to-do list. I've tried all of the apps out there and I'm still like, I love the dopamine hit of crossing a thing off too. So I physically write a list the night before. I do my novel writing first thing. I need pure morning brain, like while I'm having coffee, to sit down. And I typically do about between 1,000 and 1,500 words a day of whatever novel I'm working on. Unless I'm into hardcore edits, then I'm really not doing that. I literally just started writing a new novel 4 days ago, and I'm on-ramping myself with 500 words a day.
But wait, and where are your kids? Not like with your coffee and your kids and your novel you're writing.
No, but I have full-time childcare. I mean, that's the.
What time do they show up?
Well, 9 o'clock.
Okay, so before 9, but like from 6 to 9, what happens?
Oh, no. I'm not, oh God, I'm not one of those people that's like, I rise before my children. I get up when the kids get up. And actually this morning, because I had a nighttime book event last night, so my husband did all 3 this morning because I was like, I need an extra hour. I'm also perimenopausal, right? So I wake up in the middle of the night and I lose 2 hours of sleep. So I was like, I really need extra. Yeah, just sweating, just laying there sweating. And so he did all the kids. They are all now in some form of school. Even the baby who's almost 3 is in preschool now. And she's in preschool until 3 o'clock, but we're also kind of pushing to extend it to 5 o'clock on most days. And the other 2 are now in public school, which, oh my God, is so nice. And they're there until 3 o'clock. So from 8:30 till 3, I'm just pretty much free. And I think it's really important to talk about childcare and how we're using it. Until last week, we had an au pair for 5 years who lived in our house. Right?
That is, okay, now some things are clicking together a little bit more. And this was like somebody from Ireland, or like, how did that work?
Our most recent au pair, Donna, was from Colombia. And our first au pair, Tia, who was able to be with us longer than most au pairs are because it's a legally mandated visa, but they extended it because of COVID, was from South Africa. And she actually babysat for us last night. I mean, she is a part of our family. We helped her get into nursing school, and now she's training to be a nurse here in Philly.
But what happens if the au pair shows up and you don't like the au pair, and then you were like, oh no, you have to go back to another country?
Oh, that happened. That happened to us. Funny you should ask, because our first au pair was a very spirited young woman. And Had a fake ID within the first 4 hours. She was underage.
Oh, wow.
She was not old enough to drink. Had a fake ID within the first 4 hours of being here and just wanted to party very hard. Talk about a third shift. It was like having another child in the house, in addition to like really wanting me to solve all of her emotional trauma. And so within a month, and I had a newborn. B was a newborn at that point. Within like a month, we were like, well, this isn't working out for us. But you work, it's so regimented. Like you're working with an agency who places them, and like there's a whole process for like, this isn't working out for me. Is it really working out for you? It is, because you're having a really good time. But yeah, that can happen. We got very lucky that we, in 5 years, ended up with 2 au pairs who were truly excellent. And that was really helpful because I travel a lot for work, right? So it's mostly that we need help outside of what are normal daycare hours, or we did for a long time.
And so what's the swap? It's like room and board, and she helps like 25 hours of your choosing a week? Or like, how do you do
It's like 40 hours of your choosing a week.
And but that can be at night, obviously.
But it can also be at night. That's the thing. And like, we've actually never had help with drop off unless one of us is traveling. Like we kind of like drop off. It's like a nice thing. So our au pairs usually start later in the day, and the baby was at home until pretty recently. She's not a baby. I can't stop calling her a baby. But that allowed for night events, because I do book events at night a lot. And, you know, when I was traveling on book tour, so that Nick had some help, because 3 kids is no freaking joke. And so that was really great. The flexibility was awesome for us. We don't really need it anymore because there's not a kid at home all day. There's not a baby at home anymore. So we are au pair free for the first time.
Okay, so you have your 8:30 to 3, but then what about your mom and the things and the medications and like...
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of happening all day long. She's like, can you run a CVS for me and get me this thing? Or can you call up this handyman, which half the time is my husband, to come like install this in my apartment or fix this air conditioner or do this. That is happening all day long. But I do, again, like back to the writing, I block off that first 2 hours as best I can. I don't answer emails. I don't do any podcast work. I don't schedule interviews unless it's something that I have to do because someone else's schedule mandates it. And I don't answer texts. And my mom knows that too. So barring an emergency, like she can break through and call on an emergency, I'm not doing anything for those 2 hours. And so that lets me really get these books out. Because if you do 1,000 words a day for 3 months, you've got a book.
I mean, how do you turn your brain off? Because if I did that, then, you know, I'd still be walking around the rest of the day being like, well, the thing is, I'm thinking that the plot really has to change. And in the top of the 3rd act, this thing is going to have to happen. And then your kid is like, Mommy, help me with my math homework. And you're just like, I'm working out this logic problem in my head.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. It's living in my head all day long. It is. It's living in my head all day long. But that's also the benefit of it too, right? Because as long as you're hanging out with these characters, and the reason I don't outline, like you said, I do just sit down and kind of put it on the page, but I don't outline because I don't think you know these people until you've spent time with them. It's like going on a first date and then trying to write your life story with this person. You don't know what they're going to do until you've been with them for some time. That's how my brain works. But then it is working all day. I send myself email messages with ideas and like working it out of my brain all day. But then I turn it off as much as possible to then do all of the other life stuff that I have to do for the rest of the day. And mostly I am usually done by about 3:30. But again, it's efficiency. I don't scroll social media during the day. I'm just like banging through stuff with a force.
Yeah. And then does your mom come over at night and hang with your kids?
She does.
Or like when? Okay.
She does. Yeah. Because the big kids also have like some days where they have more activities than others. But I will tell you, I'm also kind of a selfish parent, and I don't feel bad saying that. So far, they have not been that interested in like the kinds of sports that can sometimes ruin a parent's life. And so we haven't been pushing them that hard. When they really, really want to do it and push for it, okay. But we're not doing like travel baseball and travel soccer on weekends because I still like having our weekends free.
Right. Well, they're also young enough though, because
they are, but the other 8-year-old boys are already doing it.
They're starting to do it.
They really
know.
are.
The thing is that because I have a 9 and a 13-year-old, and there is a time, I don't know, maybe like 11, where I feel like they're like 8 or 9 and you're like, we're going away for the weekend. I don't really need to tell you that there's this party going on. You know, the kids in your class.
Oh, yeah, no, I
is
keep
not
that
your
from them. I
friend.
hide that
do.
information.
Yes, I
Yes.
do not need to even inform you. But then it becomes, Mom, like I need to go to this thing. And yeah, now we have this little flag football has to be done Saturday morning and the things creep in. But I agree, like the club sports parents, that's like a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
You
It's a
know?
lifestyle. And I'm avoiding it as long as I can. I know that I know the creep is coming, but it's not here yet. And
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything to speed up that creep. So
Right.
yeah, so mom comes over usually in the afternoons. The thing is, she's not far. She's probably, I guess it's like 10 blocks, but in the beginning, she couldn't walk it. She was taking Ubers because she's not in great physical shape. But we got her one of those rolly walker pushers, the kind that you can like sit down on and store things in.
Yeah.
And now she can make the walk on her own. So
Great.
yeah, and it's great. It's great exercise for her. And so yeah, she'll come over and hang out for a couple hours, have dinner, and then like take an Uber home.
So let me ask you a question. So in all the trad wives, because you are the expert of trad wives, like this is your somehow.
Somehow, I did not think that I was going to become America's leading expert on trad wives, but I am.
It's fascinating because you have 3 kids. So it's like, whereof you speak somewhat, but you are also so incredibly different. I mean, I actually think a lot of these women are living exactly like you.
They are. That's the thing.
They're running a media company from their homes.
Yes.
And, the husband's helping out and the sister's helping out and everybody's getting this thing done, which is promoting, them baking bread. But I have to say, I don't see a lot of taking care of your elders on the trad wife social media.
No,
what's up with that?
You never see that on trad wife social media, which is fascinating because if we were talking about actual traditional lifestyles, it would be multi-generational living.
For sure.
For sure. Yes, exactly.
So why is that?
Well, because it's just not sellable. I mean, they're selling a fantasy, and the fantasy that you want to see is that life is easy. So they strip all of the labor out of caregiving, out of being a mom, out of gardening, out of homesteading, out of homeschooling, and only show the beautiful, glossy, not even accurate or realistic parts of it in order to sell a fantasy, to sell you, to essentially capture your attention, and also sell you their courses on all of these things, and their aprons, and their sourdough starters.
What are their courses?
Oh, they all have courses. Oh, they all have courses. They all have
like
courses.
How to clean?
Mostly homesteading, homeschooling. How to make passive income on social media is a big one. Like they're selling how to be a trad wife influencer. And so anything that involves actual labor, which is caring for your elders, is not going to show up on those screens. But you're right. They are running media companies, just like I am. They all have caregivers that we never see. They're all probably also doing caregiving for elderly parents, which we never see because it doesn't look beautiful on social media.
Yeah, it's not cute. Nothing cute about it.
Nothing cute about it. And also, their husbands are usually working for them. They are typically, if they're successful at being an influencer, they are the breadwinners in their families, like so many of us are these days. And I wrote this in the book, and a lot of readers are like, oh my gosh, it's such a funny satire. And I'm like, none of this is satire, sadly. I mean, they do shoot all of their content on a single day with a photographer, with a videographer, with an entire staff. They change outfits 11 times. So you think that everything is a different day. I mean, they're just essentially creating magazines and video streaming channels for you at this point.
But it is interesting, as I've been thinking about this third shift idea, the idea that, you have your job that you go to, and then you have your caretaking of your children, which already felt unmanageable, right? Like felt like how can I possibly do both of these at once? And then you filter in caring for your elders. It's so incredible to me that I have never, my mom was very much a lady. She was very bohemian in some ways, but she was proper in other ways, and had the china and the silver, and she didn't use them every day, but for Thanksgiving or something, the stuff came out and the tablecloths and blah, blah, blah. And I do none of that, right? I don't even know where these things are that were gotten for my wedding like 19 years ago, a couple of pieces of crystal and things like that. But I have this like recurring daydream of, I just want to sit down and I want to polish some silver. I just want to sit down and like hem a skirt. It's really interesting. And I think it comes back to, I just feel really overwhelmed because I've been such a professional lady. And for one of the first times in my life, I'm like, if I'm going to be domestically chained to this home or my mom's home or just this phase of life, I'm in it. I can't get out of it. There's nobody but me to do these things. Then maybe I just should do these things. I gotta just do the things then. Maybe it's just, there's something as a fantasy, it feels like, oh, that would be really nice and meditative to just sit there and polish the silver.
And it might, or it might burn the inside of your nose with fumes, to be fair.
It might be so dull. And so exhausting.
So dull. But I don't know, because I've never polished silver. So I don't know. But you're getting at something, because the trad wife fantasy works for a reason. Millions of people watch these things because I do think that a lot of us who have lived very professional lady lives for the past 25 years are burnt out because the world is not accommodating to the second shift or the third shift. And so we're looking for things that look meditative, and they make these things look meditative online. They're like, doesn't gardening look so lovely? Meanwhile, I'm looking out my window. I tried to make a tomato garden on the roof, and they're just they're constantly dying. I'm constantly attacking caterpillars and those pill bugs that eat everything. Gardening is actually not meditative for me. I think it is for some people.
Or if you only do something easy. Yeah.
Or hemming a skirt. My son's favorite pillow got ripped the other day because our 2.5-year-old put a stuffed owl in it, and he got really upset. So now I'm trying to sew it back together, and I'm not good at sewing. And so that was actually the most stressful part of my day. I could write so many pages of a book or make a podcast or do an interview with the New York Times, but sewing this pillow is ruining me right now. It's just not my forte. But I think it seems like it could be any of our fortes, right? It seems like it could be lovely because it's also so kind of foreign to us.
Right. I think the idea is that not only would your house be clean and you'd have delicious meals and you would be in control of it all, but also it would be a lovely way to spend your day, which we all know is kind of not true. But what if it was true?
But what if it was true?
You could escape all these annoying to-do lists and wait, no, CVS doesn't have the medication ready. I've got to come back here later. If you could just escape all of that and just be with your hand, little kerchief on your head and looking beautiful while you're doing it. I mean, I do have to say then the rich lady fantasy is really fascinating to me these days too.
Rich lady fantasy seems great to me.
You wear your crazy Pilates S&M clothes, and you have some crazy enormous handbag, and you sort of just yell at people on the phone about your investments. I don't know.
Done. That's what you do. I think I'd be such a good rich lady.
That's really interesting, though, the way that they're all in these ads, these aloe ads, really glistening.
Oh, yeah.
And all these expensive exercise
they always
classes.
Just worked out.
And
yeah.
Botox and I don't know. I got Botox twice, and both times I looked really weird. And then I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that part of this is trial and error. And maybe I didn't go to the right place, but I think it was kind of the right place. But I thought you just give them the money and you look beautiful. And it's actually not that. It's you give them the money and then you try a bunch of different things and you commit to it as a lifestyle of things you're doing. And you have a mirror that shows you really up close. And then things on your face change that only you can see have changed, but you feel really gratified.
Yeah, no one thinks I look at all different. I thought that about microneedling. So I won a microneedling at the school auction because I love drinking some wine and bidding on things at a school auction.
I don't even know what that is though, microneedling. They stick a needle in your face all over?
Kind of, sort of. First, they draw your own blood. And then,
what?
Yes, they draw your own blood and then they separate the plasmas and then they put the plasmas in some kind of machine. But a bunch of little needles go all over your face and then the blood gets smeared into your pores to support regrowth. Whatever. I think I saw it on TikTok and I was like, I want to try that. And then after 2 glasses of wine, I'm like, I'm going to bid on this at the auction. And I did. And I was like, I thought it was like a one and done. And I'd seen people before, no one in real life, but people on social media, like showing the after effects. And the dermatologist was like, you have to do this like 19 times and pay like $12,000.
That's the thing, is they're like, and then you need to come back. And I'm like, come back?
And I'm like, I don't want to come back. I have exactly 30 minutes. Take my blood and spread it on my face right now. And yeah, so like that is such an, like all of that just seems like such an investment of time that I'm not going to spend. I mean, much like the trad wives with the baking, you're only seeing them bake for 15 seconds and everything looks perfect. I tried to bake cinnamon toast crunch from scratch for a live segment promoting my book. And I used the recipe that Nara Smith used on her Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And all of the preparation, like getting all of these things ready, was like 4 hours of work. And then I gave it to my kid and he spit it on the floor and he's like, this is disgusting. And then went and got like his own box of cereal. So like none of that, like they're just, again, by stripping the labor of it, it looks easy and lovely, and not showing any of the actual work that goes into these things, which makes them unpleasant.
Right, exactly. It's such an odd time for women. Like, I really think that at least let's just talk about middle-aged women who are in the soup of everything, because if it wasn't for COVID and remote work, there's no way I would be working right now. That's the truth. I could not possibly be running back and forth in my car to my mom and dealing with my kids and the paperwork and the administration and
also being in an office.
And be in the office, because people would be like, where are you going? I would just be like not there all the time. But because of COVID, we all got used to this idea like, oh, we can balance both the kids and the work, even though none of us really could. Nobody's been really happy since
no
COVID.
One's thriving. It's not like we're thriving in this. And yet we can do it. And I remember being in the office of the magazines and the tech companies back in my 20s and 30s and watching parents and like people who had kids trying to leave early to go do pickup, right? And like early meant 6 o'clock. Or God forbid 5:30, and then they were treated like shit for leaving, right? Or if they had a doctor's appointment or a sick kid home, and it was always such a struggle. And I, since having kids, have not been in an office. I don't know how I would do it. I don't think I could thrive. I mean, not even thrive. I don't think I could survive like that.
No, I mean, I think when I worked at magazines, and I think there's still places that are like this, it's like you roll in at like 10:30 or 11 in the morning. You stay till like 6:30 or 7 at night.
Yes.
Maybe even you stay till 9:30 if you've got a big story that's printing.
On closing days, if you're a weekly, yeah, totally.
That's just the way it is. And maybe you go straight to dinner with somebody, etc. But I mean, I do remember somebody saying to me, that's a lot of single women and gay guys in that office, and I can't hang with that because I've got kids. I've got to get home by like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I can't be like, I show up at 9 and everybody else rolls in at like 11 and then looks at me strangely when I walk out the door. But like, even that, I just couldn't do that. Like, I know I couldn't, because I just find weird pockets to do things.
I mean, that's a great other name for this podcast, Weird Pockets of Time. Weird pockets of time. Like, I get a text in and I'm like, okay, I need to go pick up these prescriptions for my mom. I also need to work out. So I'm going to go for like a quickie 20-minute run and then loop by the pharmacy on my way back from the run, because I've got this kind of weird pocket of time, but I've also got my AirPods in so I can get that call out of the way that I have to do. It's like multitasking on steroids is what it is.
I wish I ran, because I think that people who run can keep really fit in these times when you've got so many different obligations. Personally, I haven't run since I was 11, so I'm definitely not doing that. But yeah, there's no way that I'm going to like an exercise class that's like an hour and it takes like half an hour to get there, half an hour to get back. Then I have to take a shower. Like, that's never happening. But yeah, I mean, I think that the hard thing for me is like when things don't go off. I actually did go to CVS before you and I got on the phone, and now they have like a computer. Put in your name and your birth date and where you think your prescription's coming from like a million questions and was like, no, we can't actually tell you if your prescription's ready. So then it's like, go to another window. And there's like 6 people standing there. And I was like, can you guys just tell me if you have my prescription ready? Like, I'm not actually like thinking I'm going to even get to pick it up now because this is going to take so long, but I just want to know if you have it, and they're like, well, you have to call and leave a message. And I'm like, do you really think that I haven't called and left a message and showed up here? Like, I just know that I've called twice and you guys haven't called me back. So like, there's things like that where the only reason I went to that place is because the place that's right around the corner for me, where it's like mom and pop and they're really nice and they're always helpful, doesn't have this particular compounding medication. And there are days where you're like, I'm stuck in some sort of commerce machine of hell, and it's usually when you're dealing with like big box kind of places, like,
yes,
oh, Best Buy, we're trying to set up the PS5 and it's not working. Like things like that. Whenever a new piece of technology comes into this house, I get a little frantic because I know it's gonna...
Something's going wrong. Something's going wrong.
It's like something terrible is going to happen and sap the last remaining energy that I have.
Well, I have a really good follow-up to that. So one of the things we're also doing, as I kind of mentioned before, my mom has never dealt with her money or with a budget. And now we're in complete control of that. So one of the things we're doing, because also, it wasn't just the roof caving in, it was also that she had managed to max out her 2 credit cards too, just because she wasn't paying attention to it. And I'm like, we aren't at the place where we can bail you out like this. So we set up this budget. We're kind of monitoring her budget. And we realized in the first month, she had spent $900 on like one-offs on Amazon.
What? Of what?
Like movies, TV shows, like series that she wanted to watch and movies. And the ones that she wanted to watch, most of them were available if we just bought the $19 HBO subscription.
Oh, no.
But like, just like figuring that out, like we didn't know that until all of a sudden we look at this credit card bill, right? And then getting all of the subscriptions set up on her TV was like a day-long odyssey. Those are the kinds of things we talk about the third shift and we talk about caregiving a lot, but it is more like little paper cuts of things than it is a gash most days. Like it is mostly like little tiny things. My mom now likes swimming in the pool. She's exercising for the first time. The pool is closing on October 12th. So she's like, well, what am I going to do next? And like, and that's a job. That's a to-do list thing for me to figure out, right?
Sure. Yeah. Is it a physical therapist? Or is there actually a class?
Or is there a pool somewhere where you can like go? And then how will you get there? And like all of those things. It is managing another child.
Right. It's managing another child and not all that joyful. Well, what are the good feelings? I mean, for me, it's complicated because my mom is sick. So it's like if I see her, I saw her yesterday and she was good. She was mentally really good and connecting with me and answering questions. And there's nothing that makes me feel better. Like I was like walking on air all night last night. I was so happy, What makes you happy?
Seeing my mom with my kids makes me really happy because they love her. Like they love her a lot. And she and I had a rough childhood. Like both my parents were complicated people, but she's a great grandma. And so seeing my kids with her and the joy that they bring her, but like also the joy that she brings them as being super engaged is just awesome. We were in New York and San Francisco, and then we made the decision to move back to Philly. And the fact that they get to have her in their life is awesome. And she does make our life a lot easier in so many ways by being here for them. And now that she's in the city too, my kids can have one-on-ones. So they can have like, Charlie is just sleeping over one night or B is just sleeping over one night. And they get to do the different things with her one-on-one, which is just really cool. And I never had that kind of relationship with any of my grandparents. So I think it's pretty awesome.
What are your tips? What are like a couple of tips that you have for people listening?
Like I said, it's being relentlessly efficient. I've cut social media out of my life almost entirely, which is funny because I have a whole podcast that deals with social media and wrote a book about it.
That's what Under the Influence is. It's under the influence of social media.
But I don't use it as like for fun. I don't scroll. I have time limits, like very strict ones on it. And I just refuse to lose time to it. And when I realized how much time I was losing to it, I was like, you're not going to do this anymore. And it's not bringing you joy either. It's just making you feel shitty most of the time. So I fully cut that out. Adhering to the to-do list is huge for me, but then also giving myself grace when it all goes to shit, because it's all going to go to shit at least once a week. And also, honestly, and I think this is my best advice for younger listeners and younger readers, is they're like, how can I manage all of this? And I'm like, marry the right person. Your husband is going to be your glass ceiling. Your partner is the person that I think often makes or breaks you. Like the limits of your ambition are often really dependent on them. And I'm married to a great guy. It took a really long time for us to get to this point where we could be working together and also helping each other out. But I'm glad that we got to it. And then also, I sacrifice a lot of things that people really like spending money on to spend money on childcare. Like we did for a long time. We sacrificed having this room in our house, which is not big. We live in a Philadelphia row house. And also, I pay for all the childcare so that I can get my work done.
Yeah, it's true. You just have to decide what's important. So thank you so much, Jo, for coming on So Your Parents Are Old. And we are going to have a link to your podcast, your incredible book, and your Substack, obviously. And then we are all waiting for the next book with bated breath. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So just a note before we go, things really clicked for me and maybe for you when Jo said she had hired an au pair, which is like a magical thing that made her life so much easier. So I was researching au pairs, and then I found out that one of the producers on this show, Lily Houston Smith, actually was an au pair. So before we go this week, we're just going to talk to her about her experience and how it all works. So welcome, Lily.
Thanks for having me on here. I will say I was a really bad au pair. I was like the worst au pair that.
Oh no!
Like when Jo was talking about the bad au pair that she had, I was like one of those. So I don't know if I'm the best representative.
Meaning you partied all the time?
I did party a little.
Tell me. How old were you? What did you do?
It was immediately post college, so I was 22, and I went to Germany, which has like a very fun nightlife. I was very directionless. Is like one of the reasons I did it. It's extremely popular for people to have au pairs in Germany. And it's like a really fun, easy, cheap way for a young person to travel, especially because I didn't have any other plans. So I thought I would just hang out there for a while.
And so what was the au pair part like? And how much did you get paid? And like, how did it all work?
It was extremely easy to find a family just because there's such a high demand, and people, especially in Germany, want American au pairs because the idea is that their kids learn English. And so there's no expectation that you speak German, although I did know some German at the time. You do not get paid much. You get paid in room and board, and then you get a stipend. And I can't remember what it was, but it was like pitiful. It was like 100 or 200 euros a month or something like that. But also, American au pairs in Germany don't work as much as the au pairs that are coming to the US, is my understanding. So there was no expectation that I was working 40 hours a week. It was more like 15 to 20. And also the kids I was watching were older. So I would just kind of hang out with like a 7 and 8 year old for a few hours every afternoon.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound so bad. So how do you find an au pair if you want to look into this for yourself? Like, what's a legitimate website?
So there are a ton of private agencies that basically help match au pairs with families. And this is sort of what Jo was talking about. They'll sort of help, like if an au pair doesn't fit, they'll help find you a new one. Those are companies like Cultural Care, Au Pair Care. And usually you meet these potential au pairs. They're usually about 18 to 26 years old. And you can chat with them on WhatsApp, have a video call. And if you find someone that you like, you basically just help them apply for a visa through the State Department. And then they can stay with you for about a year.
Wow. I've never considered getting an au pair. I don't know how I feel about somebody living in my house, but obviously that is a resource for anybody out there with small kids trying to balance it all. So thank you, everybody, for listening to So Your Parents Are Old this week. And we will be back with another episode next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to So Your Parents Are Old from Campside Media. If you like the show, please tell your siblings and your friends who are going through this too. And please hit the subscribe or the follow button in your podcast app. In Apple Podcasts, that's up at the top right of the podcast player. We will have an episode out every week, and if you want even more from us, including behind-the-scenes access and episode updates, head over to joinparents.com.